Come, let me get you some.
Yo, 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 welcome. It is Saber Talk Sunday. Mundo in the house. James with Mountain Sabers in the house.
What's
How's
going
everybody
on?
doing tonight? Scott's in the house. Innings in
My
the
baby.
house. My boy JT's in the house. Titan's in the house.
What's up,
Oh,
Scott?
man. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have some good conversation, too, man. I
Innings
actually
in the
tried
house,
to.
Monday. Cool, man.
I actually tried to get Tim from TCSS to come on, but
Yeah.
nobody, him or his team couldn't come on. So, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is, though. I mean, and I also sent an invitation to Rob at Sorok Saber, so I don't know if he'll be able to make it. If he does, be a lookout for that. And if he can't, he can't. It's all
Yeah.
good. Like I always say, it's an invitation, never a have to.
That's
And
right.
so, and
Drink if you
got
got
my
him. There you
got mine.
go.
I got mine. Now, kids, don't do this at home. I'm a professional.
Yeah, right. Right. I'm a professional coffee drinker, so you
Uh,
gotta.
I had lots of coffee earlier. I'm about done with coffee, man. I had probably about 7 cups already. So I used to be able to kill about 2 or 3 pots for myself. Easy. Had to slow down on that.
Yeah, right.
So we got a good conversation tonight, man, and I really hope that Rob will show up. But if he doesn't, that's all right. Because what does it take to actually produce good quality sabers, right? And from the amount of aluminum that it takes, and not just any aluminum, you can't just make a hilt out of beer cans. This stuff, you know, you can't make a saber out of this crap. I mean,
well,
you'd have to really.
well, you could if you melted it down right. You could. It wouldn't be the greatest one, not like pure aluminum, but you could.
Well, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, you could, but the thing would be so soft, you probably would break it straight out, hitting
Yeah,
it so hard.
there's techniques for that, I'm sure. That's in the
You know,
molding process. I don't
that's
know. It's
true.
out of my jurisdiction at this point. But who knows? Maybe I'll learn.
But most good quality sabers are produced out of aluminum that is made aircraft grade,
Oh
which
yeah,
is the same stuff that airplanes are made out of.
exactly.
And so any good quality hilts that are produced and the machinery that it takes to utilize to create uh you know these wonderful toys.
Yeah, I
Because
know it.
I mean, just absolutely wonderful toys, man. And we bring them to, and what does it take to bring them to life? To
A
to
vision first.
create. Well, that's step one. It has to be a vision, right? Step one. Mo, welcome, Mo.
What's up?
How, how you doing, dude? You know, just like I was saying, you have to, like you were saying too, James. The first step is the vision and the creativity that comes with it. You have avenues, multiple avenues to look at something, whether it's you're in the store, whether you're at, in a shop, whether you're in maybe Home Depot, whether there's all kinds of places and things that can bring about the creativity of how you're going to produce these hilts. Now, aside from that, though, okay, aside from that, the type of machinery that it also takes to produce these things, because most of the time when you get that aluminum, it doesn't come straight out hollow, right? Unless
No.
you're
Yeah.
most of the time, a lot of the aluminum that people are getting and using that kind of aluminum are using CNC machines. they're utilizing lathes, they're utilizing different sets of tools in order to achieve these precise cuts. To you know
He said,
when you're getting
"Oh
stuff
yeah,
like this, that's just machine
it's
beauty
accuracy.
right here.
What that's called?
Yeah.
It's called computer accuracy. Today's CNC machines are all computer. It goes right off a program. Lathes can also do the same thing too. If you get the top notch ones, it's all determined by numeric function. Location. Everything is location, 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 location. You got to make sure that you have a good plan and a good and a good pattern to go by. And like when these things are made. I didn't make this, but when these things are made, these Luke Skywalker or Ray blade holders or tubes, these things are totally CNC'd, day in day out, professionally, you know but
Right.
what I did today and yesterday was I made my own blade tubes. This was out of a hunk of 3-inch aluminum. So I had to bring it down, machine it all
It
down
looks
to where
great.
everything is going to fit. Absolutely, man. And now
Are
that
you?
I have, the blade. Well, I'll just show you real quick. I didn't thread this. I could thread this too, but I didn't feel like going that extent because it's not necessary. And I have another option. I wanted to use
Mhm,
the RGB adapters, with the heat sink separately so that it can be changed out very quickly instead of having to
mhm.
unthread this whole thing, take the tape off, take the RGB off, unsolder everything. This way, this thing just comes right out, boop, done. And it'll
Oh
have
wow.
a few grub screws I'll have tapped and drilled in here, so it'll hold this
Hmm.
thing in. It'll never come out. And
Oh nice.
it fits so tight that I have to rock it back and forth, just so it makes it all the way in, and that's a good machine. So this
Yeah,
one
exactly.
I spent today doing it, and it was fantastic, and I'm
It
very
looks
happy
fantastic.
because I'm not going to be able to get these tubes anymore. They're
Yeah,
discontinuing them, so that's why I'm starting to
really.
try and understand how to make them, and in case you never know. Maybe somebody wants one, or somebody's interested in different sizes. So that's what I'm focusing on now. So yeah, I went out, got a lathe.
And that's the thing too. I mean, there's always going to be an expense with new machinery that you need or
Yeah,
want, depending
even with
on
the
what your
job,
level is.
it's like the job all of a sudden appeared, and I'm like, well, I asked around, for anybody who really, was good at machining, even my local territory here, and nobody
Hmm.
either had time or the want to do it, so they didn't even really want to be bothered with it. So I said, well, I'm not going to let my customer down. So that's why I decided to go out and purchase it and continue the project, because it really means a lot to me that I want them to have a completed hilt. I want them to have what they wanted, that they asked for. I don't want them to be disappointed. So I went out and I did it. That's makes me feel good.
Yeah, and
And I
and
was
that's
covered. I was covered with glitter, by the way. I just I hopped in the shower real quick so I can make the show, and yeah, but I definitely was. No
now
fooling,
all
man.
you
It
need
goes
is a disc.
everywhere.
You need a disco ball, right, to go
Yeah,
along with it.
yeah. It goes everywhere, and you got to wear eye protection. It's the first thing. Protection, protection, protection on any of these machines. And before vision, make sure that you know what you're doing. Protection. If you plan on attempting to do this on your own, definitely wear protection as much as can. But I would advise not wearing, well, some people may have a different opinion, but no gloves, no long sleeves when you're by a lathe, because it takes 1 second and boop, it'll suck you right in and you'll get really hurt. So that's the basic analogy of be safe.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing that when you're utilizing any machinery or just anything in general,
Yep.
whether it even be a saw, whether it be even the Dremel drill. I mean,
Oh
another
yeah.
piece of machinery, right?
You
Another
bet,
piece of
man.
machinery.
Yep.
You
And that
cut
little
you
blade,
you
on the
piping
end there,
and
man, can shatter and it can go right into your eyeball. So you got to be very, very careful. It's
yeah,
no
exactly.
joke when dealing with tools.
So And I mean, not everything is, and I'm sorry, I keep saying, I repeat myself so many times it's unreal at work. It's hard to turn it off sometimes. So I got to try to kind of bring myself back to reality here now and then. Um,
Nah, don't do that.
well, I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again so many times. You
No
know.
reality
See,
here,
there
man.
we go.
This is
we
all
we
dream
go.
world right here, man.
We we need to have a meter, right? So
Yeah,
so every time I say we're gonna get one that goes click click click.
gotta get a little bubble, a bubble, click, bing.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll probably have about 1,000 in there before I quit saying um, exactly how. Oh God, my brain is going 100 miles an hour because I'm still thinking about the party too. The CNN says, I work in a metal shop and I've never seen some crazy things with machinery. Well, not everything is going to be crazy things, but things happen eventually, right?
Yeah,
People being safe.
it's
Oh,
safety. They're
he's
forgetting
seen
forgetting
some
the
crazy.
basics.
They've
Yeah,
seen some crazy things. Yeah, people not being safe, and I think that's a big part of it because when people are really not paying attention, they're doing stupid things around these machinery.
yeah. These
It's a
things
wonder
are
why
amazing.
people.
I mean, it is. I got the aluminum. I mean, it came in the mail, everything. And as a matter of fact, I got 5-inch pieces, and they were about 3 inches. Well, actually, it was a no. I'm sorry, it was an inch and a half. So I
Hmm.
reduced this to about 20 mil. So this is about 130 diameter, which is what I needed outside. And then I studied for a while to learn how to use the machine. I spent weeks watching it before it came, and then I tried my hand on a smaller piece. So if anything ever happened, it's
Hmm.
not a catastrophe, and I'm not concerned about the part, and I'm also not concerned about myself that it goes, flying off in the distance or hit me in the face. So you have to learn the machine that you're on first. Know its quirks and everything too, because that's also important. See what the limitations are. If they don't
Yeah,
verbalize limitations, then I would definitely, be advisable to watch out for the limitations. You know, but
I
yeah,
think you would
I love it.
sit.
It's my favorite
I,
tool in the whole world now.
right?
Great. It's
I think
great.
you would set yourself. I honestly believe that you would set yourself up for failure or to get hurt
Yeah.
if the recommendations that you're giving out, James, would not come around and that person not adhere to those recommendations.
Not
Um,
everybody does. Not everybody does.
you
A lot of
know,
people don't listen. They do their own thing. Ah, I got it. No problem. And then, the next minute they're in the hospital, wind up with something wrong. So it's very, very important to be careful. That's all. But have fun
yeah,
while
and
doing it. Don't get so freaked out that you're like, I don't want to touch the machine. Oh no,
right,
I move it too much. Don't get freaked out. Just learn the machine, try it. If
right,
something doesn't work, pull it back, turn it off, do it again. It's
yeah.
trial and error. Everything in this life is trial and error. I mean, this is this is the first one that I've done on the lathes, and it's really, really, really cool. I even made the rim. You could see the rim on the edge.
Oh, I mean, it looks fantastic,
I
man.
mean, it's a very
How
clean piece. And that's what I
how long did
expect.
it take you to make it?
Well, like I said, it's my first time on this machine. So, I've been on
Hmm.
machines before, but now I've sold them a long time ago. I've had machines before, but now I purchased a newer one. So, first time on the machine in this last couple of days, and this took
Hmm.
me, maybe half a day, maybe half a day to make it, on a slow scale, slow speed. I'm not churning these things out like I'm like a CNC machine. I'm doing very
Right.
slow paces, little at a time, take it off, little at a time, take a look, fit everything. So it's a process. It takes time. If you want a nice piece like this, it
Hmm.
takes time. So it's not a rush situation. These things you don't want to rush, you know.
And especially on a lathe, because like you were saying, a CNC machine, but the difference between a lathe and a CNC machine is a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
Because the 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 lathe, you know, even though they're both similar a little bit, the CNC machine is a lot faster because of the mechanics that is coincided with
Oh,
it,
yeah, absolutely.
and they just, I mean, it throws out things in bulk as opposed
Totally.
to a lathe where you're doing, one piece at a time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, because a CNC machine can spit out what 10 or 20 pieces in a couple of hours, as
Depending on the
opposed to
size,
doing
but
one.
absolutely, it's way advanced, way faster than anybody by hand, of course, But I
Hmm.
still believe that quality is in the hands of the person who is doing it. I mean, whether it be programming it or whatnot. Um,
Right.
oh, you want to know what kind of machine I have? Well, I just got one of those small. It's not a very expensive machine. It's like maybe $1,500. It's a very small lathe. It's actually 7 by 14. It's a tiny little guy. You could probably find them on online or something like that. I didn't want to buy 20 $30,000 lathe. I don't think I'm going to go that into it. I'd rather have, for me, my own personal opinion is, I'd rather, if I'm going to have a saber made, I'll design it and have it sent out to the big boys to make. I'm not going to sit there and
Right.
turn 20, 30 sabers. It would take me forever, and by the time everybody was in, the interest would fall off because it would take me so long to do. So this is
Yeah,
a great
exactly.
machine for things I'm doing, and I planned it that way, because I don't want to get that big. I don't really need to. The machine can handle a lot.
Hmm.
I can make a saber on it. It's no problem. It's very good.
Hmm.
Um, I just don't want to mention, brand names at this point, because it's YouTube. It's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But you can find pretty much small ones. They're pretty good.
I had thought about getting one from Harbor Freight,
It's
just to
similar
do
to
like
that.
small stuff,
It's
you
similar
know.
to that. It's a very similar machine. I mean, I'm not, like I said. I'm not the master lather. I'm doing this because
Hmm.
I wanted to learn. Number one, I wanted to be able to make these just in case. If
Hmm.
I may even actually offer these on my shop or something, because they're pretty easy to do once I get the back threading and all that stuff laid out and done. Which
Hmm.
takes some time. I can offer those, if or just use them for my builds. Because a lot of people do that. You know,
Hmm. Speaking of the heat sinks, are you still needing one or two?
am I still needing them?
Yeah.
No, I've got a whole set for these things. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I think I was gonna say I think I might have one or two heat sinks
Oh, you're
around that
talking
I'm not
about
gonna
the
use.
brass ones, the brass ones?
The heat sink that you got inside there, the copper.
Yeah. Yeah, just this one. But this is actually comes complete. This is actually, I didn't do this, but this is a
Mm.
TCS um RGB, tricrete holder. So the
Oh,
lens
okay.
and the holder, the tape goes in here, all that stuff goes in here, and the wires come out of there. So
Hmm.
everything goes into this little, like, nice, neat package, all wired, and all I got to do is just slide it in here and then mount it, and then this thing is good to go. And then I'll put a grub screw or two for the blade, because it's going to be a dueler, so that's why I made these.
Oh, okay. Dueler, that's
Well,
it.
we're trying it. A client of mine decided he wanted to go with the Galaxy's Edge. He has the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers,
Hmm.
with the big chassis and all that stuff, with the crystal in the middle and all that. Well, that's what this is for. So it's a conversion kit. With the
Yeah.
conversion kit, well, he does NeoPixel. So he wanted baselit so that he can duel, so you don't blast the or NeoPixels out.
Right.
So that's what this is all for. So it's going to go together really great. I mean, I put a lot of time and a lot of thinking into this before I attempted any of it. So, because I wouldn't have done it otherwise, if I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Hmm.
Um, but I
And
did it.
also utilizing drills, right? Now, depending on the kind of drill setup that you have, whether you have one of those big shop drills, or maybe you have a tabletop drill,
I've
or
got both.
even the kind of drill setup that I have, the drill setup that I have is for the Dremel drill.
Right.
It's got the little handle down like that because to me, that's, I think it's a little bit adequate for starting out the small holes and then replacing with the drill bits and getting the bigger holes down and stuff like that. Now, I don't have the drill bits on any quick connect uh, on the Dremel, simply because I think that if I did like a quick connect type, it would be kind of wobbly. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
sure, yeah, yeah,
But I do have a different kind of drill press as well that utilizes the plug-in drills that you have a regular chuck key with and everything like that. I have that one set up. That one I should have. I haven't put it. I've got it put together,
mhm,
but I don't have it on a table anywhere where I can bolt it down just yet because there's some things that I'm doing in my garage right now that I don't have the room for to put it on.
right,
But I do want to get another little table later on, and that little table is going to I'll be able to put that drill bit that drill mechanism on there and bolt it down as well as other things on that table that I can bolt them down, and that table will be utilized just for those type of tools
right,
and machinery. So it'll have its own little workstation in that
sure.
in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, I got drill press, I got the mill, I got all that stuff sitting in there. So it's about time I start utilizing it. I wanted to build a saber. I've always wanted to do it for myself. I just wanted to turn one and see how things go. I still have my mag lights. I want to turn those covers outside, give them a little spirit, do nice little things. I have plans for it. So it's not just going to sit in there collecting dust. There's going to be things happening. Crystal chambers. I'm going to try and make some crystal chambers, you know, um, out of the either aluminum or the brass or the copper, depending on what I can get a hold of. I got a couple of contacts, so I may be able to, get something going with that. But there's always something to do with it. Tool is a tool. You can use it for the good things.
Right. And oh man, I don't know if
And
I've got it
Scott
close.
Carpenter said measured 93 times and cut once. Well, for this particular version, yeah, for this thing, I had to actually cut, measure, cut, measure, cut, measure, cut, measure until I get it because I really want this thing to be like bloop, you know what I mean? Just like that. I
Yeah.
don't want I want it to slide out and I want it to be perfect. So that's what takes the time. It's slow. To get this quality, it's slow. Unless you're a CNC machine, if I'm a
That's
CNC, I'll be like, and then it'll be done,
right.
But I'm not. I'm a
Yeah.
human, so I have I have a little patience when it comes to that stuff.
I think okay. So here's another thing that I think you do have to have as an essential tool. And it's not no ordinary tool. An
No,
essential tool, like you said, is the patience, right?
yeah,
Because simply because for the fact that, like Rob, Petcow says, you rush it, you wreck it, right?
yes, yes, absolutely.
And I always have adhered to that. Uh, I I can never get those words out of the back of my head. I never can. And I think for those who actually are not only very creative in terms of that, I think the ones that produce some great hilts, great creative hilts at that too, the artistic abilities, those are the people that really do well with having adhered to having so much patience and getting things done.
Oh yeah,
Whether it be an installation process, whether it be a part process, whether it be, any of that stuff, that all of these things that come together to make the saber what it really is.
yep.
Um,
Yeah, drill
and
press, like I
also,
said about the drill press, the problem with the drill presses is that it's the bearings. The drill presses, they don't come too great. I mean, if you get the cheaper ones,
Hmm.
the good ones, you may get lucky. You may have a good bearing, but always before you even start to try and do any kind of milling with a bit or anything, you always check those bearings. If that whole chuck wobbles and stuff like that, I would never take a chance in using that for a mill, because it only takes 1 second for that bit to break, chop out in your head, something. I'm always thinking the worst because it happens. you know,
Hmm.
you want professional tools. If you're going to do it something right, you want to really do it right. Get yourself the right tool, even if it's not the most expensive tool, but like medium. Don't buy the cheap shit, because that
Hmm.
stuff won't work. I swear, it really doesn't
Right.
work. I've bought them; they're terrible, and I wound up returning them. Buy yourself a decent mill, and then you'll be set to go. Drill press. Don't take a chance, man. You want to continue to build. You don't want to be suffering from an injury because you made a mistake. So you want
Yeah.
to you want to continue to build. So just always have that in your head. And also he said the love for the craft. You have to love the
Yeah.
craft.
You do. Otherwise, I think if you're getting burnt out on it, don't continue it because you don't want to bring that type of resentment into your work.
Yeah, no.
It's a
Or
labor
fear.
of love.
Or
It's a
fear,
labor
because
of
fear
love.
is a
But
big time.
yeah.
Fear is the worst. If you fear something, you're gonna not want to do it. So definitely
Mhm.
don't fear it, but be conscious of the choices that you make. That's all.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I love all the different kind of tools that you can utilize for this stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And I really wish that I could get a hold of some of these tools now. But in time I will. And for those who are wanting to do this and that and rush into things, take your time. I mean, if you're
Oh
gonna
sure.
go and do this, take your time. If you're on a budget like I am, like I said, save a little at a time and then grab what you need when you have all of that money. You go and buy that particular tool or that particular um that particular item that you're looking for to get you to that next step in your evolution of making sabers.
Oh yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you'll be happy. You'll be happy,
Yep.
like I am right now. I'm saving up for a 3D printer, so it's going slow, but eventually I'll
That's
get
all
one.
right. No, they're great too, man. I love those things. I do so much. Every day is something on the 3D printer for me. So, whether it's a chassis or something for myself or for someone else, they're always running. So it's
And I've seen the evolution of chassis too, going from the aluminum disc and things. I mean, I know Tim still has a lot of them, on his shop and everything.
oh yeah.
And I'm wondering that if later on those might be obsolete or not because of the 3D printing chassis, right?
No, well, you mean the metal chassis?
Yeah.
No, they won't be
The,
obsolete.
no,
I don't
those
think
the
so.
disc. Yeah. I well, you're right. I don't think they will, but there could be a chance where because people are 3D printing stuff, and now you're
Well,
having 3D printers that are doing metal, right?
yeah,
So
but
it's
not as nice as CNC machines or turning them. They're not. They're definitely not as nice. The printed type. I mean, 3D
hmm
printed is great. Resin is great, but those
hmm
metal chassis are. Well, a lot of those things. Some of them are molded. They're cast molded. Some of them are turned. Some of them are CNC'd, but most of them are
hmm
cast molded. From what I've seen, like the
yeah.
chambers. There are a lot of those are cast molded, sand cast molded. They pour the metal in, and there it is. You know,
hmm
um, but for those chassis, the individual parts and all that stuff, yeah, I don't want them, wouldn't want them to go anywhere. I
I
think
don't
if you
think
can
I
afford
wouldn't want
them,
them to go either.
they are expensive, so you would want to save up for those. I mean, they're not,
Right.
but it's a desired price because of the technology and the effort that went into making them. So that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because it is expensive for a CNC machine just to produce. what, maybe 10 or 15 discs at one time.
It
I
depends on the
mean,
bulk, you know. It depends on how many you order. You know, it's like
yeah.
you can order a product and say, "Oh, I want 20 of those." Okay, well, we'll give you a little discount rate, you know. So, sure, absolutely. You know, I'm sure they would be discounting them. If you're going to be like a regular customer, let's say like you're a
Hmm.
major saber maker, you know, and you've got that company, sure, they'd definitely cut you a break, you know, but you know, the
Yeah, see,
aluminum's not cheap and all that other stuff's not cheap and the electric's not cheap to run all this machines. So yeah, you know, it would probably be a little pricey.
right? And I think that's another thing that people who are maybe thinking about the pricing and stuff of certain products that go into making the sabers.
Yeah.
And I don't think, well, newer people in the hobby, the newbies in the hobby that are coming out now, they're just now getting familiar with certain things, and they're probably not privy to a lot of what's going on within making and producing a lot of the parts, especially like from TCSS, that the
Yeah.
CNC
Yeah.
machining, how much the cost really is. We don't know what it cost him to make all of these
No.
parts,
No.
right?
No.
Um, how much money he's spending on each of these
Each
CNC
part?
machines.
No.
He's running what, maybe six or seven, eight, maybe nine of these machines in his shop, and for each one of them to run 8 hours a day plus
Sure.
the parts coming up plus the cost of the materials, the cost of the
Yeah.
fluid,
Yeah.
the cost
Yeah.
of
It's crazy.
uh, the electricity. Like, my God, you know,
Crazy, man.
you would be surprised at what it would cost just to do all of these,
Yeah.
and how much money he actually got back on some of these parts
Yeah.
for
Well, I
producing
think
them,
there's not a
right?
big call for these right now. You know what I mean? So the problem is that
Hmm.
I asked. I emailed them, so you know the DS the TCSS, and I asked them about the blade because I always use these things. I have so many hilts that I'm planning on using, you know, for
Hmm.
conversions and stuff. So, but I asked him, he said no, they're not gonna stock them anymore. So I was, not disappointed, but I can understand because it takes a lot to make these. You know what I mean? And if
Hmm.
nobody's really going for them, you know, if nobody's really ordering them, then why keep making them? Why keep burning machines out there?
Exactly.
You know? So
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it, and I'm not disappointed, and I'm not mad. I just took a different route and started making my own. That's all. You know, it's simple as that. You know.
And that's what you have to do sometimes. And
Yeah.
doesn't matter who it is. There's always going to be another route to go in
Yeah.
order to get to that satisfactory product that you want to have.
Well, I look at it this way. You know, I haven't sent anything out before. You know, to have machined or milled or anything like that. Is I usually just order it.
Hmm.
It shows up. You know, but now that I'm doing it myself, I really understand what the process is and how long it takes. I mean, I'm just doing this on a little lathe. You know, it's just a small shop lathe. You know, it's not automatic. It's all manual. I mean, it does have a track. You know, it does follow a track for for long lengths and stuff. So I don't have to sit there turning it. It's got an auto track, reverse and forward and all that. It's
Oh,
very.
there you go.
Oh yeah, it's got all
That's
the.
good.
Oh, it's really it's a big gigantic lathe in a small package. Is basically what it is. It's got everything you need. It's got gears. It's got the transfers. It's got all kinds of stuff. I got a chuck. It's a really nice piece, and for the price and for what I need it for, it's great. So, like I said before, it depends on what people want to do with the item, or the machine.
Hmm.
That's all.
Now,
But you,
another item that I've been seeing. Well, not another item that I've been watching, but I've been seeing how people are kind of electroplating at home, right?
yeah. Mo
And
said, "Oh, Mo asked a question. He said, hey, will that piece have alignment studs? No, this is going to be converted to a baselit because he wants to dual with this. So he omitted for the alignment studs for the Galaxy's Edge. So this is going to replace that whole blade holder inside. Um, so there is a conversion kit out there for these Galaxy's edges. I think it's a Goth 3D, a combination of
Yeah, I've
Goth
seen
3D
him.
and another company. Yeah, so so this is gonna replace that. I'm kind of customizing a lot of this stuff because this has never really been. I mean, this part for is hasn't really been done. Putting one of these in and all that stuff. It's just a the conversion kit was never meant to go this far, but I'm pushing my limits. So here we go. And I don't mind.
Ingenuity at its best.
Yeah,
Ingenuity
yeah.
at its best.
And I also have to turn this one down. This is the Ray adapter, but I have to turn it down because for some reason the the hilt that I'm working on, the Ray hilt, which is I think it's a I forgot what who makes it. It's nothing. I think it's like I don't know, not like a core band or it's just a regular Ray thing. And I thought the blade holder looked like it would fit because they said it was for both. The F Force Effects one didn't fit. So I have to mill this outside edge off,
Oh
probably
wow.
a couple of thousand, maybe not even because it's barely just going in the tubes.
Hmm.
So that's my project for tomorrow. So stay tuned.
Do you think you're gonna attempt anything like threading on there, or have you attempted threading yet?
No, but I to be honest with you, I like this version better that I was going to put the TCS plugs in for this because I can
Hmm.
also utilize this for NeoPixel as well. So I don't have to really actually make the change. All I got to do is just drill the big old hole and that's it. And then make
Hmm.
sure that it's all beautiful, smooth, sanded, everything has the edge. So when you put the blade in, it's good. Um, I will attempt threading, so I can use some of my heat sinks. I just don't want to
Hmm.
waste time right now because there's things to be done.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But I will,
Oh yeah,
and I'll definitely show that. My attempts at that and everything. So, but
I'd love to
I've
see
done it
that.
before. It's been a long time. It's been 20 years since I've been on one of those things, and
Hmm.
now that I'm finally getting back into it all again, it's pretty cool.
Now, when you're boring out,
Yeah,
when you're getting it smooth on the inside
yeah,
of that particular piece, or any piece, in fact, on the inside,
yep.
how does smoothing it on the inside go? Is that the blade that goes inside and that bores it out and smooths it out?
Yep, it's the blade, it's the boring blade that does it, and it's also the angle, and it's also the speed at which you cut because you
Hmm.
want the finer thread would let's say this went like that. So you would have a
Hmm.
big gap of a line that goes all the way a spiral like this. The slower it
Hmm.
goes and the finer it goes, and it's a little bit of its touching, it will take off just that surface and keep going, and then it will give you that.
And so it deburrs it at the same time,
It
right?
deburrs it. It does a whole bunch of things. But if it could bring it up close, I don't know if I can. But you could see how smooth that is. I
Yeah,
mean,
I can see it.
you could see some lines, but you will never feel those. Those are way, way, way too tiny for anybody to even
Right.
notice. And I already polished this too, like on the outside.
Hmm.
So it's polished for to take some of the scratches and stuff out, but not going to see
Right.
this. But for adapters that you would, I would go the extra step and polish it and make sure that you know everything is uh, cosmetically fine for the exterior. But you won't see this; it's
Hmm.
non-existent.
Well,
But for
see,
something
and
like this,
that's
like you wouldn't want to sand this stuff down because this is exposed. So I have to be
right.
really careful on how I mount everything, so I'm able to take this little outside layer off. So there's
Hmm.
little tips and tricks and things that I'm starting to learn a little bit more about, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Cool. That's nice, man. Yeah, I'm
And
betting
Mo
it'll
asked if
turn
I
out really
started out with a
nice.
solid bar, and I said yes. I did start out with a solid bar. I didn't bring the chunk of bar to show you. I should have done that too, but it's an inch and a half round aluminum. It was about 5 inches, and I cut it down to 3 inches, and then did all this work. So absolutely, it was a total solid bar. Plain,
I
no,
was at
no.
Harbor Freight the other night. I was at Harbor Freight the other night, and I saw some of those aluminum bars like that, the solid bars, and I
Yeah,
picked one up, and I'm like, oh my God, this shit is heavy. Like, just
it's
pick it
heavy
up.
when it's longer. When these, I mean, this thing
Yeah.
is, it's a couple ounces. This is 2-3 ounces at least. I mean, but once it's taken down and everything, it becomes really really light. But
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
amazing how the weight distribution feels when you've got
yep,
that solid, that solid chunk, and then you cut it down and you bore it out, and you have,
yep,
that finished product,
yep,
that smooth, and then the lightness that comes after cutting it down. It's just like night and day. I mean, the difference between the two is just unreal when you have that solid chunk like that,
yeah.
as opposed to the product that you're producing or the
Well,
machine is
I ordered
producing.
I ordered these chunks. I ordered these chunks on Amazon. You can get these
Hmm.
chunks on Amazon. Any size you want. Comes in 2 days. It's done. But if I'm
Hmm.
gonna buy bulk, I'm gonna have to, I'll locate a company and stuff like that I can get them, so I don't have to keep. I mean, I probably could buy them from Amazon bulk. I mean, whatever. I just order, and it's done. But I got it for a pretty
Right.
decent price. They're not sample pieces. They were raw. They
Hmm.
were marked with a stamp and everything, and really good grade. It's aircraft aluminum, by the way. This is not the cheap crap. This is aircraft aluminum, so it's gonna
Right.
last forever. Um,
What up, Reese? Reese
hey,
is in the house.
what's up?
Darth Reese, the protege. Space Windows protege, man. The next evolution of blade builders right here
Blade
now.
builders, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Ah, man. Yeah, he's been producing some good blades, man. If you seen some of the videos that they've been doing,
Oh
him
yeah,
in space, like, oh my God, man, coming out cool, cool
very
stuff,
very
man.
cool. But yeah, man,
So
tools are tricks of the trade, man. A lot of people do things differently, which is very cool, and a lot of people learn from each other when it comes to doing these things. And I hope that I could be one of those people. But I'm learning from others right now because it's been like I said, 20 years. So, but
right,
I don't think this was too bad for 20 years.
no,
No
not bad at
chatter.
all.
There's no chatter in this thing. There's no nothing. It looks like you just got this from the store. It's
Right, exactly.
but it takes a
And,
bit of
and my
work.
bad, Reese, and
Yeah.
Hilts too. I forgot to say, yeah, Hilts too, man.
Yeah.
Uh, him and Space, they've been coming up with some, and they're getting pieces from TCSS too, and producing some
Yeah.
good sabers out of those
Yep.
too
Yep.
as well. Man.
Yeah. This is really cool stuff, though. It's pretty remarkable. Really good stuff.
And I don't know, a lot of people have said that they really, when they're machining, when they're doing their stuff, that it's actually kind of calming work as well. I mean, you're so focused on things that
I had my music cranking.
um yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of the troubles of the world go away
Yep.
when you're doing stuff like this. And I get it, dude. I mean, I get it. Like one of the things that I really enjoy doing is the tinning of the wires and putting the wires together and stuff like that.
Yep.
That is so calming to me.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I just bought a fume extractor that I
Oh
just
yeah.
got yesterday,
Nice.
and well, like, oh, dude, I like it. Well, because I hadn't had a fume extractor. I just been doing the work, the wires and stuff without. I just hold my breath, or I have a face mask. And I'm all like, you know what? I need to get a fume extractor so
They
that way
work
when
good.
I'm doing
Yeah. They work good.
uh the that UA, I think that's what the company is, UA or something like that. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can bring this around. Oh, I don't want to catch that edge, but let me see here. Move things around. I got too much crap on my workbench right now. But yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean
There
it's
it is.
got helping hands, the charcoal stuff right here,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
back there too. I mean, it works good. I'm not gonna turn it on, but man,
Yeah,
I tell you, for what I paid, $50 for it, not bad. You know,
that's good.
not a bad little thing, man.
No, I mean it's not
And
always great to smell those fumes and all that stuff. I have a vent in my place, so I don't it all goes out, so it's just but not the best thing to
I
smell.
wanted to, I wanted to do that. Actually, I had thought about buying a couple of boards and put them on one of those big. I got a big box fan. I was
Well,
thinking, I can
yeah,
do that too,
you
man.
can do that
You know,
too.
put a
You're in the
couple of
garage.
boards.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm in the garage, so
yeah.
a lot of times I'll open up the garage while I'm doing all of the wire work and stuff. But it still kind of gets in my face. At least this way with the little fume extractor, it won't get in my face all that much anymore.
Yeah.
So I won't have to worry about wearing the mask, and I can wear my eye goggles and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and that'll help. My old
No,
man.
you gotta get rid of
Oh,
the fumes.
that's another thing. It depending on what you're working. If you're working on like electronics and stuff, you need
Oh
some
yeah.
old man eyes like I have, right?
Yeah, those are great, man. Yeah, those are good.
Oh man, they're great. They are great
I have my
for when you're
magnifying
doing the.
glass window. I look through. It has one of these. It's a ring, but it's eyeglass down there, and I can move it wherever I want to use it. Because I don't want to touch to my head. I can't stand it. Like stuff. I just don't like that. I like just being able to
Hmm.
sit down there and having total mobility with my hands. I mean, I have this little magnifying glass once in a while that'll look to try and see what the number of the resistor is, or something. But that's pretty fun, man.
And you also, as well as utilizing some things to help, right? And we were talking about how displaying your sabers, right?
Yeah,
And again, this was the one that I had inside that Cindy made me, right?
right, right.
And when I'm working on the saber, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put the saber on here
Oh
and
yeah,
I'll do, work on the saber like this. Or if I'm working on the board or something without the saber being, without it being in the saber and stuff, then
well, I
I'll
got
go
one of those
ahead.
jaw clamps. I got one of those jaw clamps that clamp on, so it'll clamp onto the saber. It'll clamp
Mhm.
on to the chassis when I'm working on them. It positions 360. So I like to be comfortable when I do things. I don't be like, hold on, wait a minute, almost got it. Oh, got it. I, I can't. I don't. I'm too direct for that stuff. Like similar to that, yeah, but
Yeah. But see,
it's
like
on a
this thing
pedestal.
don't
It's on a
work.
very mounted base, and it swivels and it does all this, and it just has a little thing with, you twist the handle and it closes on it, and
Hmm.
it's very simple.
I've
It doesn't
got
take a lot of room.
Yeah, I've got a Stanley one that
Yeah,
it's on the side over here.
yeah,
So if I'm cutting like a pipe or something, and I get my saw and I cut it like that, and it swivels up and down. But I'm gonna get another little. I'm uh, I think Dremel has one I like the Dremel products, so I think Dremel has one that is a tabletop where it'll go 360 back
yeah.
and
That's a
forth,
cool
and
one.
it's
It's
so
nice to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Tools are important, man. Like I said, you don't want to buy too bad at junk. You want to be able to
yeah.
you want it to be able to serve your purpose and to work for at least a year. I mean, I
Hmm.
mean, the 6 months throwing in the garbage stuff is getting out of hand. We want to have some good quality stuff. And I'm always the
Oh,
first one to look for
absolutely.
that.
Well, see, and that's another point that you make right there, James. It's a good
Yeah,
point too, because if you're buying stuff just to throw it away, what's the point?
right.
Because you're gonna spend just as much money for a good quality product that you can have for years,
Hey, put
and you're gonna
Put
spend
Mo's comment
and,
up, man. That means a lot right there. Put Mo's comment up. Did you see that? Work smarter, not harder, man.
right
That's
there
the
you
way to
go.
go.
Yep, let's put that one up right there.
That's the one. That's the one for sure, man. Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely. It is. I do. I keep that in mind all the time when I go work at the ranch too. I tell you.
right? I
Cause
know.
man, I tell you, it gets hot over there, and if you exert yourself too much, man, whew,
Yeah.
you'll overheat yourself very quickly.
Yeah.
So like I went with my mom yesterday, and we took out a couple of hay bales and fed the cows, and we got it done within an hour and a half to almost two
Nice.
hours before it got like super hot. So you know, and it can get really hot over there.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it, man. Today was a
Early
good day.
retirement tonight.
A little windy for me, but I was just like, I'll still do it. I'm in the garage trying to, finish these things up, and nice day,
You and
man.
me both. I'm in the garage. Yeah, it was gorgeous day, man. My God, it was like 70 degrees over here,
Well, it beats my
and
snow day, man. I
sunny.
mean, my snow day was great. I had a really fun time doing that video and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
that was such a great video.
but I'll tell you, and that afternoon, all snow was gone. So what you saw,
Really?
gone, gone. It was like a
All
hit,
gone by the
all gone,
afternoon? Oh my
all gone
God.
by the afternoon. Yeah, gone.
Oh,
A foot
wow.
of snow gone in less than like 5 6 hours. It's crazy, man.
5 or 6 hours. My God.
Yeah, man. So I'm
That's
lucky
so
I'm getting. That's why
disappointing.
I'm saying when I don't get snow and I don't get it hardly ever, I run out there because it's gone in like a couple hours. Well, we're hot climate, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Early retirement tonight, Mida.
See you, Scott.
See you, Scott. Have a good night, man. Thank you for stopping by, dude.
Yeah, man.
We got to get Scott on here one of these nights, man. The three of us.
That'd
That'd
be
be
great, man.
hilarious.
It'd be a lot of fun.
That'd
We gotta
be
get more people on here. Anybody wants to come on, man. It's a lot of fun, man.
right. That's
Talk
what I
about
tell him,
whatever.
man.
Yeah.
That's what I tell him. I said, I mean, it may be saber talk, but we can talk about all kinds of other things too. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I
Stuff's
mean,
great.
it works
Yeah.
always, man.
See,
Now,
like even
um,
this particular CNC part, I just wanted to point out, like on this very edge right here. I don't know if you could see it, but like this little edge right there,
yeah, yeah,
those are sharp. Like they're
I
not
see that.
when these come right out of the CNC machine and they go boop right in the bucket. They don't
Yeah.
sand these things down. They don't do anything. This is comes right out of the machine just like it is. Boop done. So there's no polishing involved. There's no nothing. Um, so those are the things that natural machine. And it's the natural about this is really pretty cool. But you still got to
Hmm.
watch your hands on this stuff. It's pretty sharp still.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of talk on certain companies that would produce hilts. Whether their CNC machines were set the way they were set. But there was a lot of complaints too, where people were getting hands cut
Yeah,
and or skin taken off just simply because how sharp the edges were on those
yeah.
things, on
Well,
those
that's why I try
parts.
and make sure that these things don't really have. Well, there's really I don't want to change the accuracy of this, so I will not be doing anything to this except milling this down so it fits the body.
Hmm.
Because I don't want to change the proportions. I don't want to change this. You slip, you mess it up, it's over. You can't sand it, can't get it back. You can
Hmm.
take it off, but you can't get it back. So that's
Yeah,
one thing you
exactly.
got to remember that. So my little micro element, minute adjustments at a time for these things. Um, you know,
Yeah,
that's
if you're using just the regular lathe or the milling machine, right?
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do for this. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there, boop, and it's gonna turn. And what I'm gonna do, it's gonna woo, and then I'm gonna just cut this all the way to this end, and that's it,
Hmm.
and stop because I don't want to take off too much, or else it's gonna look kind of funky. You
Hmm.
gotta be, and plus I just want it to fit nice and tight because again, this is gonna go dueling, so the soul
Hmm.
has to take the beating.
I don't. I wonder if probably don't. Let me see. Oh, I think I do. Okay. So I decided that I was going to buy some copper pieces from Home Depot,
Nice. Oh, I love to see that. You mean
and
rounds?
I
You getting
wanted.
rounds?
Well, look, I want to show you right here.
All
See
right.
these?
Yeah.
So I bought a couple of these because I do want to try. Hey, Chet, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show,
Yeah.
buddy.
What's up, brother?
Um, I wanted to try my hand
What are those?
at
Fittings?
maybe, yeah, they're just plain old
Oh,
brass
okay.
fittings,
It's the
right?
copper sleeves. Yeah, for the piping. Yeah, sure.
So what I wanted to do, in my little ideas, and is to kind of cut a little section out, right? And try my hand. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's just an idea that I'm toying with.
Cool.
And um, try my hand, and maybe I need the smaller ones too. Let me see here. But um, let me see. Where's the other one? Okay. Well, I'll use the bigger ones as an example. But using these discs, right?
Oh yeah.
So kind of, where is do, and I was changing things around my desk area, and I don't. I hate when I move things around, right when I have them, and then I move things around, and then they're not where I want to have them.
Happened to me today.
I'm all like, no, I thought it was there, and it's not there. Like one of the resistors from TSS, right? The what do you call them? The oh my gosh, the little black ones.
The
Anyways,
SMDs.
no, no, no. What do you call those? Variable. The variables,
Oh
right?
yeah,
The
yeah. The
variable
variable.
resistors.
Yep.
The little black variable resistors.
Yep.
So I decided that I was making um
I really like those. Those really work good.
yeah. So I've got these buttons right
Yep.
here, right?
That's it.
And I've got one done with the variable resistor on there right
I love
now.
those.
And I started working on the second one. And I
Right.
was thinking to myself, damn, I'm gonna have to order these another set of variable resistors
Yeah.
because I don't know what the hell happened to the ones I had. While
Nope.
moving stuff around today, while I was cleaning up some of the stuff in my garage, I find the variable resistors, right? So I'm like, damn, I don't have to buy them anymore, right?
Right. I know.
Okay, so let me tell you, you got the disc, and I've got this right here, right? So get the little sleeve like this, and then get the cutout right here. And the crystal is going to go in there so you can see the crystal in this area.
That'd be
And
cool.
then have something like that. And of course, you're going to have the piping, the
Yep.
brass piping that goes around here, right? The crystal's inside, so you're going to see the crystal inside with the cutout. And I'm thinking maybe three windows in here.
Nice.
Um, and I'm thinking maybe if I can get away with it, like maybe a triangle pattern, um, on each window, a triangle or something, just not a plain square or a
Yeah.
plain round type, but just to try it out, right?
Yeah.
So it's just an idea that I'm kind of thinking of for a crystal chamber that is different from everything else that I've seen. And because what I can do is also that little thing that I have, I could put this on a bench vise, right? That
Right.
I've got on the side of my workbench here. I'll put this on my vise, have the vise hold this, get my little Sharpie and put my little design on there, and then utilize the Dremel to get it done, right? To
Yeah.
to
Very cool.
do the cutouts, and then take my file and then clean up those sharp edges and stuff like that.
Yep.
So again, coming back to the tools, coming back to machinery to utilize for these types of things. And there I go with the
Oh
again.
yeah.
Uh, so
Ding.
in doing so, right? Ding! So anybody who hears me say go bing. I know Jim will. Jim will go in here and go, Mundo, that's number 3400.
Ding.
I can hear Jim right now. Mundo, 3400. You know,
3400.
3500. You know, I'm gonna have my counters on here that Okay, it's a day.
Oh my god, it's so funny. All right, hang on. I'll be right there. I can still hear you. But
Yeah.
just grabbing something. I'll be right there.
Oh no, grab it. It's all good, man. It's all
I can
good.
hear
Um, I was thinking also. Okay, so we got CNC machines, we got lathes, laser printers or laser cutters. We haven't talked about those yet. And I know that there's a lot of those out there. As a matter of fact, uh, Brian from Smugglers Room or whatever. Oh gosh, I forgot what it's called, man. Where he does room builds, right? He Star Wars his room, his house, and everything else. Um, I really enjoy watching him build those stuff with the laser cutter, the laser printers, and the laser stuff that he has. Well, the laser cutter essentially is a great tool that you can utilize as well. Now, you can use it for wood, you can use it for acrylics, you can use it for just about anything on there. And I find it fascinating how accurate and how clean cut a lot of the stuff that comes out from these laser cutters and these laser printers as well. Um, I find it very fascinating because you do see a lot of clamp cards being produced that way. You see a lot of um, other things being produced, right? And if anybody has ever watched Jedi Arms Dealer, he uses a laser cutter to cut acrylics for some of his chassis
right.
and stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
And
They're great for
oh
stands
man,
too. Like, I think they do the acrylic stands like that too.
right. A lot of people utilize those cutters for the acrylic stands, and a lot of stuff comes fantastic. I mean, it's so accurate. If you were to try to produce these things with just your hand, you probably won't
Oh,
be as accurate as those laser cutters are. I
I mean,
mean, the
unless you've done it
dynamic.
for 40 years and your hands are like a CNC machine, but I got to tell you there's really nothing more accurate than those things, I mean, they really get down to it,
Yeah.
they're not always completely foolproof. It all depends on the pattern and the thing that they're cutting, I mean, sometimes they can't cut certain things, so they have to move on to the next machine, but they're pretty good. They're pretty versatile. I've seen them in action too, and they do all kinds of crazy things, all kinds of crazy
Oh,
angles
they
now, from
do.
what I remember.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's good to see that the amount, well, not necessarily amount, but the amount of quality that goes into these machines that
Yeah.
the companies that produce these machines, what were they thinking? How they produced them to be so accurate, and the amount of care that it takes to make sure that these function properly in the terms of quality that you're going to get out of your cuts.
Yeah. Well, it's all
Painstaking.
machine setup, like I said, you gotta know your machine, you know? You can't
Hmm.
it's either that or you're gonna have somebody come in and maintenance, do maintenance, everyday maintenance on it unless you know your machine, I mean,
Hmm.
if you knew nothing about them and you bought that machine and you set it up in your room and go, "Okay, press play." It doesn't work like that. It's not
Hmm.
there's an education that comes alongside of it, I mean, if you're lucky enough to be alongside somebody who's used those machines and you're watching from a point of view, or you watch it for on the YouTube channels. I mean, you can find just about anything that is pertained to any of these tools on YouTube, if you want to see how they,
Right.
And that's how I did it. I researched this little lathe because I saw a lot of people were using similar size machines. That was my objective, was to get a small one. I don't want this gigantic
Hmm.
300,000 pound thing that I can't move myself. If I want to do something, I could pick this sucker up and put it on the other side of the shop if I want. Again, it suits my needs. Other people may vary, but for my own personal opinion, I think I can do a lot of stuff on this machine. You know,
Yeah.
um,
If you, I mean, if you can find a machine that does everything, almost everything in one shot, why
there
not?
is
You know,
there's a nice machine out there. I think made by oh Proxon. I think is pretty cool. It's very small though. I don't think it's that large, but not as big as mine. But
mhm.
it's a small lathe plus a mill all combined into one. So you
Oh
can
wow.
yeah, it's like, and I think it's like 8 inch or something like that. I don't know if they make bigger ones. I'm sure they do, other brands,
Hmm.
but that was one I'm speaking of that I know of. And it's pretty cool. It has
Hmm.
a mill, so you could basically hold your part inside the chuck of the mill of the lathe, and then you could do your milling as as a center point or something. There's so many options.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. And there's so many tools to utilize for some great hilts as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and
Etching, they're doing the laser engravers now. That thing is just blows me away, man. It's like
oh, the laser
Bill Weathers is
etchers.
doing
Oh
it
my
now. I
God.
think Jeremy from Solo Sabers is doing it now. It's pretty cool, man. I can't take that. The only two things that I can't take is that much high frequency and the resin smells. I can't deal with the chemicals. Those are the only two things that I probably
Yeah,
won't be doing in the future, because it's just a musician ears, man. Ringing. So,
I hear you.
and just listen,
No pun
just watch,
intended. No pun intended.
just what?
I
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
hear you. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I may hear you. I may not. Oh my god! I know it's
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
it is.
Yes,
It
he
is.
said the Proxons are pretty
But
good.
it's it's.
I have a Proxon mill. It's a pretty nice. It's a pretty cool little guy. But I have a larger one too. But I probably use mostly the smaller one, because the lathe I could do just about everything I want to do as far as detailing and
Hmm.
knurling. You could do knurling of the handles. Like those are really cool. I ordered myself a knurler so I can do grips and stuff like that, which I'd love to get into. It's my favorite thing. I even do that 3D printing. I knurl stuff because it just has such a great grip, or fuzzy print.
Knurling is pretty cool. I like the small stuff knurled. I don't, and some, I think some of the handles, need some knurling here and there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a full body knurl, but I think if you were to do like some neural design and neural some certain neural way of doing some like middle parts and stuff.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I think it fantastic way of doing stuff.
Yep.
Anthony, let's see, has does Proxon see? Oh, really, Reese? Really? When did he get that, dude?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I, I need to look at that video, man.
Yeah, look them up, man. They're really neat. That's a good brand too. I mean, they're very strong. See, I had a little tiny mill. I have a large mill in this one, and then the little one that I previously had was a cheap, really cheap one. It was terrible. It was so
Hmm.
wobbly, and it wasn't stationary, and the meshing of the metals, the tracks and all, it was terrible. I bought that
Hmm.
Proxon. I've had it for about, I don't know, three years now.
Hmm.
Flawless, like flawless. I can do whatever I
I've
want.
heard good thing about that
Yeah,
company, that
it's a
that
good
particular
company.
product.
I'm not hashtag
Yeah,
not
by no
sponsored.
means, right? By no means are we sponsored at all.
No, no, just
Mhm.
talking out of our own voice, so we don't want to get cut off because of that stuff. But yeah,
I need to look at that video. I must have missed that video, Reese, because I've been pretty busy lately, so I
Right.
haven't had much time for a lot of videos. But yeah, um, that's another thing though. You know, um, a lot of things that people don't realize too is if you're learning and you utilize videos to learn stuff, whether
Yeah.
it be milling, whether it be threading, whether it be um, drip and tapping. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just started watching a few videos on drilling and tapping,
Yeah.
and so I've watched a couple of videos and that, and again with the oh, it's on the floor. So with that copper piece like that, I since I bought two, I want to try my hand at drilling and tapping on that copper on the other copper piece, so that I can get myself familiar with drilling and tapping
Yep.
and kind of doing that myself.
Careful
Eventually.
on, just got to be careful on
So.
soft metals and thin metals, like that copper tubing.
Hmm.
If you try and thread that, I would probably use a very thin thread, not a coarse thread, and
Hmm.
um, a fine thread, because you'll have more to bite into. If you use a coarse thread, it'll probably wind up just pulling out of that copper eventually. So always go with this finer thread if you can do this thinner metals, like
Hmm.
for this for instance, you see how thick that is. That's about,
Hmm.
oh, it's probably almost a little less than a quarter inch. So that you would just use, you can use coarse, fine, whatever you want for this. But if you're going
Hmm.
to use something that's maybe, let's say, a little thinner, almost like as thin as my glasses here. You see, that's almost like the thickness of the tubing. So you would want to
Yeah.
use finer thread because you get more bite. It'll stay in there
Hmm.
longer. Softer metal is harder to tap and keep tapped because you don't want to
Really.
cross thread it. Copper especially, brass,
Now,
soft metal too,
I,
same thing, and aluminum.
okay, I need your opinion on something because I bought, and of
Aluminum.
course, I didn't check with anybody before I bought these because when I bought these, it is a drill and tap
Yep,
set,
great.
but the drill is already built in with the tap to it. It's a tapped drill bit,
Oh
if
yeah, I
that
have
makes
those.
sense.
I have those.
Now,
My
how
my
how
advice
good
my advice is to pre-drill anyway.
pre-drill anyway?
Yeah, because
Okay,
you'll break that bit. I've done it.
okay.
Experience. I broke about 5, 6 of them in the hole, and especially like those bits would be maybe okay for these to go in there if you lube it up. You have to, WD it while you're drilling for those bits. But to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, I would always drill first and then tap it with that bit, which is okay
Mm-hmm.
because it'll clear all your burrs as it taps, from the
Mm-hmm.
drill bit. Always drill
Well,
first
see,
because, unless they're like, you know, unobtainium, then then it's gonna break. Those they always break. They
oh
always
yeah.
do. I could show you about
Reese
10 of
says
them
they
in my
haven't put up the
collection.
video yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep an eye out for that video then, Reese. I
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
can't wait to see that though. That'd be nice. And I've seen some mills do some work, and it's like, oh my God, that's just cool. That is just super cool, man.
Yep.
Seeing those little mills go at work. I mean, with just that little chunk of metal, and then it's just chewing through it like butter. Like, oh,
Yeah.
dude.
It's a nice process.
That-
It's relaxing to watch, and it's satisfying, and it's rewarding at the same time, because you got so much going on all at once. You have to watch your, speed, you have to watch your depth, you have to watch a lot of things. There's a lot of mathematics involved when it comes to that part of it,
Mhm.
templates and all that stuff, how accurate your machine is. I mean, if you do like a turn and then finally moves, well, that's a problem. You don't want, you want these things to be very accurate so you can apply your dimensions accordingly. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right, for
the
sure.
newer, more expensive machines will do that more better. than, let's say, the one that I got or the one that somebody else gets. But I'm into
Mhm.
the hand doing. I'm into hands on. That's my thing. I love doing everything by hand. So if I can, I will hand make these forever because I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun to learn. For somebody who wants to do it for themselves, but this is satisfying, man. I know I keep talking about it, but for today, uh, this is great. This is great news for me, and it's gonna,
No, it is, and I
it's really
see.
great.
I want to get to that. I want to get to that point too.
Yeah,
I really do, because and the reason why I say that is I've never been that kind of person to really do that kind of shop stuff, right?
right,
As I was growing up as a kid, I took shop, but I didn't build anything too spectacular. And I enjoy working with tools, especially being a rancher. I enjoy utilizing some tools, but I wasn't like hands-on build everything that you can build type stuff.
right,
I was never, I really didn't have that much of an opportunity to do a lot of that stuff because I was always busy doing things, other things, and of course being lazy as well myself. I come home from school, watch TV, whatever, but I wasn't in the garage doing anything. uh, I'd go and help my parents at the ranch, and then I'd come home and sit on my butt and watch TV. I wouldn't come in the garage and do anything in the garage.
right.
Now that I'm old, now that I'm older and I think about it, I'm like, damn, why did I wait so long to do this stuff? And having to learn all this stuff at this age. But at the same time that I'm thinking it's such a great opportunity to learn these things, to learn how to utilize these machines, to learn how to do, woodworking if I need to do woodworking stuff,
Mm.
to do all of this stuff for myself and learn all of this stuff that I didn't learn when I was younger
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
and prepare myself because now even more so before I ever retire from anything, I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to do myself, in the end of stuff. I'm never gonna be not able to there won't be a time where I will have nothing to do, if that makes sense.
well, sure, yeah.
Because
That's how I
at
want
the
it.
r- at the ranch there's a never ending amount of stuff to do.
Oh sure,
At the house here, there's never ending amount of stuff to do right now.
yeah,
Especially even when we're fixing to be empty nesters. Now that we're gonna be empty nesters, I'm gonna be even more busy, right? But I want to be even more busy kind of producing some good hilts, some good sabers. Oh, excuse me.
yeah.
Some good sabers, good stuff. Um, and eventually I'd like to invite people to come out and, work on some of this stuff with me in my garage. So, yeah, that's the plan of certain things.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
future. It's something to look forward to, man. It's always great. That's what I did. Same thing for me too. I look forward to turning those things, this week because it's a necessity, number one, and I don't like, you know, I try not to let, anybody down. I want these things to be what they expect them to be. That's the whole point of doing this. It's so the whole point is to satisfy the needs so we can get it done. That's that's the
exactly.
that's the point. You got to have it. And
Yeah,
it's
all fun
exciting. It's a
too.
really good. It's a good experience. So if anybody's into doing those things, you take your time, you learn it, spend a couple of weeks, like I did, learning the basics. Even if it's on video, at least it'll be in here. So you go, oh, I remember that, and now you can reenact that event. With a little bit more ease instead of going staring at the machine, going, oh
Right?
no, that's all there is for instructions. So you want to research stuff. Don't be afraid to research
Exactly.
it. Nobody's going to tear your head off by asking questions. I mean, it really shouldn't be that difficult. You know to ask somebody for help,
And
or
there's so much information out there to
there
utilize.
is.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
if
not a
you can't
secret.
read. You
Milling's
know,
been
if you
done
have a
for a
hard
long
time reading,
time, 100 years, man, probably plus. There's machines out
plus,
there that are over 100 years old. You know what I mean? People have been doing them for a
exactly.
long time, so it's nothing new. There's no secrets. All it is just a plethora of information. You know, that's all it is.
I think there's more information out there
Yeah,
than there is, than there is the oh gosh, how do I want to put this? I mean, I'm not trying to put any one thing down or anything like that, but there is so much information out there to learn from.
sure.
You if you don't utilize it, yeah, you're gonna fail at something, and you try again and you get it done.
Yeah,
But don't let the I'm that type of very person, and this is the reason why I'm saying this is because I am that type of person, and it's okay to be like that. That if you're intimidated by something, the way to get over that is to just do it.
yeah.
Don't overthink it. Don't
Nope,
get intimidated by it, because
yep,
if you don't try it and you don't do it, then you'll never know what it's going to be like.
nope.
When I first started the hobby, um, I was so intimidated about doing certain things, but at the same time, when I started taking over the show, I was intimidated a little bit on whether I was going to be good enough to have Saber Talk run the way it's run, and for me not to let Anthony down, Space Windu. And he's put a lot of trust in me. Reese has put a lot of trust in me in doing the show as well.
Sure.
And I mentioned Reese and I mentioned Space. I enjoy doing the show, and I enjoy the people that come and hang out with us and watch us, Sunday nights. And um, as you can tell, we have a lot of fun here. And I myself now believe that I can excel and bring the show, with much more people who want to come on, who truly want to come on, and they'll take the time and they'll want to come on and have a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
fun with this too. It may take a little bit of time for them to come on eventually, and they will. And like I said, there's always an invitation for anybody who wants to come on and have a lot of fun with this. And if you can't, I understand, because simply because of the time of the show, people either go to bed early, or they have work the next day, and they don't want to, they can't stay up that late either, or there's other things, that family life and everything that comes first. So, oh man, thanks, Reese. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. When I hear things like that, that
Yeah.
really does mean a lot to me, because every person that comes out and hangs out with us, even in the chat, and I know Charlie. Charlie comes out and he works out and he listens to the show, and God bless him. God bless everybody, because that to me makes the world go round. That's why I do it, because I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the fun, for the people, for you guys.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
for the love of sabers, for the love of everything.
Good
It's
information,
just,
and talks and all kinds of stuff, which is important to
yeah,
people on an everyday basis and
and
everyday life.
yeah, exactly. And then I understand, because I understand that there's people out there that can't talk to anybody about this stuff because they love this stuff. But like I said before, the significant other doesn't want anything to do with it, doesn't like it, don't want to hear about it, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
it happens.
or their family members,
It
they
happens.
just don't want to deal with that. They don't want to hear it. So there's no place for these people to come and go talk to. There's nobody for them to come and talk to or even listen to. Yeah, they'll listen to other YouTube channels about doing this, about doing that. But what I provide is, come and take a seat at our table and let's talk about this stuff, because it's fun for us. It's going to be fun for you. So my invitation to everybody who wants to, come on over, come have a seat with us, talk
Yeah.
with us. We'd love to have you, right? And as you've seen, there's some new people that have come on, They'll show up in the chat here and there, and even though they may not be on the chat, they may be listening to this a little bit later. And even those people who will watch this later, I sincerely appreciate that too. And I know Anthony Space Window sincerely appreciates that as well. And if you guys so choose to share and like, please do. I mean, if it if it helps you in any way, if it brings you joy in any way, if it puts a small amount of a smile on your face in any way, then yeah, man, this is the place for you to come Sunday nights. And even though I can't do it every single Sunday night, like I wish I could, I have a life. I have family as well, and that's why I understand if people can't come on and do it like that because family life, work life, whatever life, that whatever's going through in your life,
Oh yeah.
things happen, and this is just a small part of it. But if this small part, Darth Vader, welcome.
Yeah.
You know, if this brings you just a small portion of a smile on your face, then I will have done something right for you. And that is what's very important, to me. And you know, in talking about this stuff, also, people do learn some stuff. If all of this stuff you already know, hey, that's okay. you know, a lot of times I'm doing this for the new people that are coming in, and for the seasoned people, you've already heard the same things over and over again. That's okay. But we talk about and in not only time that we're going to talk about lightsabers, we can talk about shows that have lightsabers. We can talk about things that have lightsabers. We can talk about Star Wars stuff. I mean, it just we're just going to shoot the shit here sometimes, man. And it's just about having fun. Um,
That's it. You bet.
and again, I choose not to. For those of you, I choose not to record. Okay, I choose a live feed for the simple fact that you can't edit live, and I say this all the time. You say something, you can't really take it back. You know, if you if something happens in your life, you can't rewind it and do it over again, right? Oh, Charlie, dude, you're never late. Besides, man, I know that. Man, besides, I know if you get busy, you'll watch it later, dude. I hope you have a great workout. So I'm not worried,
Pretty cool
man.
show. Pretty cool show today, man.
So
We got to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today.
yeah, it's awesome, man. Charlie, man, over here, he gets in and he sees like all these celebrities with Superman and
Great.
all kinds of. I mean, even Star Wars celebrities, man. Charlie's in good with these people. It
Woo.
won't be long before we see Charlie on being a celebrity himself. He already is, man. He teaches the karate to kids, man. I tell you,
Oh,
he's a
cool.
celebrity in my eyes, dude.
Cool.
Like Space Window too. Space Window. Anthony, he teaches karate to kids as well, man. I mean, he and Charlie just like what? They're gonna end up becoming ninjas, man. Not for long. They'll be ninjas.
Ninjas.
Oh
That's
man. So again, it's just all fun. But whether you learn something or not, we're here to talk about anything that we can talk about. The only thing I will not talk about, no politics, nothing bad in the world, because I want to put a smile on people's face. I don't want to have somebody come and be sad on here. You know, I want to bring you
nope.
up.
We want to
We
make
want
cool
to
things like
raise
this.
you.
That's what we want to do. We want to be
That's what we
keeping.
want to do.
We want to do stuff like this.
Yeah, we need good stuff too,
There
like
you go.
stuff like this, man.
I know it. Know it. That's what we're doing, man. Every day. Every day. I got a whole bunch of installs on the table, man. I'm waiting for them to curate a little bit before I put them back together, but I did a whole bunch of stuff for Nathan Donovan and stuff like that. So we got to remember those chassis
Mhm.
I was talking to you about. So you'll see those in a video soon because I'm going to put them up pretty neat, you know.
Charlie, Charlie, yes, you are, dude. You are somebody special, man. Those kids that you teach, you are
Cool.
a special person. Everybody is special, man. No matter what you do in life, everybody is human. Everybody is a brother or sister, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all special, bro. Yeah. A
Hmm.
Christmas story saber. Eventually, we'll get one, man.
Mm.
Eventually. And see, Reese says that Anthony taught him martial arts, and that's the reason why he started working for him. And Anthony's just like that, man. Anthony is such a wonderful person too. You know, and I just can't wait to see the. I think I was Jedi Arms Dealer and him. I commissioned Anthony for Graphics, and it's just going to be beautiful when I get that. When I get that hilt, and of course I need to start getting his Boken together and try to send it out to him when I can. James, are you planning to make some metal chassis with your new machine?
I don't know. I may try it. It all depends on on the design and what it'd be something to try, for sure. The mill would get a workout, that's for sure, because there'd be some intricacies on that particular type of chassis. But um, I don't know. I may play around with it. I'm gonna start doing a little bit on my just to brush up maybe a little bit and put some grips on my mag lights and things like that that I've never. Some have the knurled ones and some don't have the knurled handles. So I was gonna rotate them on the lathe and make some cool little patterns or something on there. And not much metal on these things, mind you. They're very thin, but they're tough. They're aircraft aluminum as well, so there's something to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna try to do chambers too. I like to make the little crystal chambers. I think I can do those pretty well on here. Bolt them together, make them really nice and tight and everything like that. But there's gonna be all kinds of things I'm gonna be able to do with this. Pretty neato. You know.
Well, dude, let's talk about that next Sunday. Let's talk about Crystal Chamber stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah. I always
Let's
try and
do
make
it.
a crystal chamber in any one of my chassis, and if anybody knows me, they know that I try my damnedest to do that for all my installs. And if it doesn't come with it, I usually try because I know who doesn't want a crystal chamber in their, some sort of a crystal
Right?
chamber in their hilt. So if you get an install done by me or anything like that, I'll always try to do that if it's gonna fit. Um,
Let's go for it. So we'll talk about Crystal Chamber
yeah,
stuff next. Oh man.
that'd
All
be
right,
cool.
guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night now,
All
and
right, man. Hey,
thank
man.
you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
So thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Remember to like and subscribe if you wish. I know
Yeah,
Anthony certainly appreciates it. If you ever have a chance, go on my Instagram, on the Mundo channel and give it some love there.
yeah, yeah.
Everything that you see here on the Civilized Sabers channel, you'll see on the Mundo channel. And actually, I think there's a couple of videos here on Civilized Sabers that you can't see that you'll see on the Mundo channel because we got flagged a couple of times, but that's all right, man. That means we're
Yeah.
doing something right. We're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
something good.
That's for
But
sure.
other than that, man, like I said, if you guys ever want to email me, it's e_Cabrera CABRERAIII at yahoo.com. And of course, go to Mountain Sabers, hit up James for any kind of things that you need saber wise. He'll be happy to help you out. Make sure you guys go to Civilized Sabers and check out Anthony and Reese's work, and
Yeah,
make sure you like and subscribe to their stuff.
it's
Because
excellent. I got to
man,
see a
you get
video too. It's very
quality
cool,
blades.
man.
Yeah,
Very
quality
cool.
blades, man. And
Yep.
and Jedi Arms Dealer too, man. If you guys haven't watched any of Jedi Arms Dealer's videos, you gotta go check him out, man.
Yeah.
Cause I was watching a few of them last night, rewatching them, And I tell you, oh my gosh, they're awesome, awesome. Okay, guys, so let me get it here. I'm going to banner out here in just a minute.
Peace.
Peace out, guys. Have
See
a
ya.
good night. Love you all.